Okay, guys, and we're back with another episode of the Seth Solo Side Quest. I'm Seth from the Lonely Solo Podcast, and this episode we're going to be talking about British Steel. Yep, the UK government has just hit the emergency button again and nationalised this company, because nothing says crisis like the words British Steel and financial collapse in the same sentence. Now, you're probably thinking, Seth, why are you talking about steel? Is that the best topic you could come up with? But stick with me throughout this video, because this isn't just about metal, it's about jobs, it's about pride, and it's about why the UK keeps trying to save this industry while it's been on life support since Margaret Thatcher was in power. So first off, let's answer the big question. Why is British Steel hemorrhaging cash like a student after payday? Let's start with the obvious. China produces more steel in a month than the UK does in a decade. They've got factories the size of Wales, state-backed subsidies, and energy costs so low they're practically mining coal with spoons. Meanwhile, British Steel's competing with one hand tied behind its back, paying European energy prices in a post-Ukraine war world. Spoiler, gas bills here are costing more than my entire Netflix subscription history. And the next reason is, walking into British Steel plant is like stepping into a museum of industrial revolution. Half the machinery is older than my nan's Tupperware collection. Modern steel mills, they're automated, AI driven, and greener than a hipster's smoothie. British Steel, they're still using blast furnaces that guzzle coal like it's 1985. And guess what? Banks aren't exactly lining up to loan billions to a company that hasn't turned a profit since Love Island was just a twinkle in ITV's eye. And number 3, Brexit. The gift that keeps on giving. Tariffs, trade barriers, and paperwork so thick you could build a fort with it. British Steel used to sell to Europe like it was going out of fashion. Now, it's cheaper for German car makers to buy steel from, well, Germany or China. At this rate, it might even be cheaper to get it from the moon. And now we're going to break down, why did the government swoop in like a knight in shining armour? Well, the truth is, British Steel isn't just a company, it's a lifeline. Towns like Scunthorpe still is the economy. If the plant closes, it's not just 4,000 workers out of a job. It's the cafes, the suppliers, the taxi drivers who take night shift workers home. It's economic Armageddon with a side of Greg's sausage rolls. Steel's not just for building IKEA shelves. It's for railways, bridges, tanks. Letting British Steel die means relying on China or India for critical infrastructure. And let's be real. Trusting geopolitical rivals with your supply chain is like asking your ex to babysit. It's not ideal. No government wants the party that killed British Steel on their Wikipedia page. It's the same reason we still have Royal Mail red post boxes. Nostalgia is a powerful drug, and British Steel's a national icon. Even if it is an icon that has been losing money since the Spice Girls were a thing. Okay, let's get down to the fun bit. How do you turn British Steel from a money pit into, well, not a money pit? The future of steel is electric. Literally. Countries like Sweden are building green steel plants powered by hydrogen and renewables. British Steel's sitting on a gold mine here. The UK's got offshore wind farms galore. Imagine marketing net zero British Steel to eco-conscious Tesla and IKEA. Charge a premium, save the planet, and maybe make Greta Thunberg smile. Maybe. And also stop trying to compete with China on cheap rebar. Focus on niche markets, aerospace grade steel, military contracts, custom alloys for luxury cars. Rolls-Royce doesn't sell Honda Civics. Why should British Steel? The government's great at two things, queuing and red tape. If they're running like British Steel, they'll need to act less like Yes Minister and more like Elon Musk on a caffeine bender. Streamline decisions, slash middle management, and let engineers, not politicians, call the shots. Team up with universities, startups, and mad scientists. The UK's got geniuses in Oxford and Cambridge dreaming up wild tech. 3D printed steel components, nano coatings that prevent rust. Let's get weird. Invest in apprenticeships. Turn steel towns into innovation hubs. Give workers skills for the 21st century, robotics, AI maintenance, carbon capture, and pay them properly. Surprise, surprise, happy workers are productive workers. But here's the thing. British Steel isn't just about profit. It's about identity too. The UK was built on steel, the bridges, the ships, the railways that stitched this soggy island together. When you walk through Sheffield or Port Talbot, you're walking through the ghost of empire, the good, the bad and the ugly. Letting British Steel die feels like admitting we're not that kind of country anymore. And for the workers, it's pride. For example, you've got people in these places like Sheffield, like Scunthorpe, their granddad worked in a factory, and he came home covered in grease, hands rougher than sandpaper. But at least he built things, and there's dignity in that. You can't replace it with Deliveroo gigs or call centres, but nostalgia is not a business model. If British Steel wants to survive, it needs to be more than a museum piece. It needs to be a phoenix, a slightly sooty, politically conscientious phoenix, but a phoenix nonetheless. So, I end this video asking one question. Can the government fix British Steel? Maybe. But it will take more than bailouts and crossed fingers. It will take vision, guts, and a willingness to tell the global market, nah, we're good. And if they fail, at least they'll have the memories, the vibes, and the scrap metal. Let me know what you think of British Steel. Do you think that this should have died in the 90s? Or do you think the government have got a serious chance in actually being able to successfully turn British Steel around? Let me know, and I'm out. Another episode of the Seth solo side quest in the bag, and I'm out. Peace.